Hi everyone, I hope everyone's well. So today we're looking at part 2 of King Charles's diagnosis, but mainly also the royal family. If you've not caught part 1, then please do check that out. After this, I probably won't call it part 3, part 4, because it'll be general readings. And we might touch base on his health, see how he's feeling, and also on the energies of the other royals. There's more that I'd like to read on that. I'm going to recap a little bit because I'm not sure if it's fully understood in the last video. The videos really aim to provide healing, provide a way for us to look at things in a different angle. There's so much hate, there's so much media and not, just scattered rumours, clickbait stuff just on this. And if you've watched my readings, then you know that I don't like to play with people's energy. Having said that, while I do say that, please don't come on this channel and say that you're a psychic or pretend that you're a psychic and be condescending. I'll just leave it at that. Everyone's feedback is welcome because we all have different perspectives and we're all human. The way I read stuff is quite conservative, and if you've seen any of the energy readings, if it's on YouTube and not a client, then I tend to hold back from anything that could put out negative energy, which probably harms it not being clickbait, because I can definitely turn the cards into a darker version. So how can we take from what we're seeing in the media, from the UK royal family, into our own lives? And I mentioned in the last video that we shouldn't necessarily wait to the last minute on things. And sorry if I'm being direct, but I think it's important to get out there. Some of the comments I've had, which have gone now, and I think there's still a couple of comments left, which are people's opinions, and that's great, and we all have an opinion to share because it gives us different perspective. But you also need to know that I understand energy and I feel the energy, and that's why in the first reading I was overwhelmed with the negative energy and also the sadness that was in the royals at the moment because of the tower moments that are happening. I can pick up on energy. So I can definitely feel your energy if you're putting out nice words, but you're doing it in a condescending or a belittling way or in a negative fashion. So there's just no need to comment, especially if it's towards me, towards the channel or anything else. My channel's probably not for everyone because it's not very gossipy. It's more or less, how can we learn from situations? And I can definitely tell you, I have a strong sense that out of this, the sun shines. It's like tower moments are happening, there's crumblings, but there's such a huge picture and such a huge awakening. And out of this, there's going to be heroes, especially one hero. And that hero what's happening is also to help certain individuals and a hero be able to achieve that journey and success by having also the support of the UK and also I would say world. Don't forget we've got Australia who follow also the Commonwealth, so we're not only talking about the UK. Now in the first reading I also pulled cards on Camilla. And I remember I got a few cards and I interpreted what I was getting with them, but at the same time, I must be honest that I would hoped to have had a bit of a more mastered, higher level cards. What do I mean by that? So one of the cards was the Knight of Cups. As opposed to a Knight of Cups, I would have liked to have seen the Queen of Cups in a time where, yes, it's King Charles III, but it's her husband. This is they've had this journey of wanting to come together. And so her energy, I knew, was very scattered. Very scattered in a sense. I felt she was overwhelmed. A lot was happening. I don't think she's absorbed it and come to sense with it. And that's where she goes into the deep reflection of being alone. And I think I mentioned about astrology or getting into something like that. And I also mentioned the worry about the media attention. Now, her energy is quite conservative in a sense where I have never tried to read on her. So I think if I do, I'd be able to tap in more. But as a whole, she's not an energy that you can quite read, but I can tell you she's probably got that feistiness within her. She's definitely not a full water sign with all placements. I don't know what her placements are. She could be a Queen of Cups in terms of placements of her sun, but I believe there's other signs, and I might take a guess on that in a bit. So in this reading, I will like to pull on Camilla again, because I think her energy is going to change from what we saw yesterday, or this was the day before. So I'm recording this and putting it up as a premiere as soon as it's processed. I'd also like to look at Prince William and then Prince Harry. I mentioned in terms of, people are saying Harry's coming in for attention, but why would he come in for attention? I'm not really sure. So we can see in the cards, now I'm not saying he's a saint because there's things that's done. And again, I don't know where King Charles's cancer has been, where it's been found in his body. So what type of cancer? We know that he was going into hospital for prostate. So maybe he was having MRI scans that brought this diagnosis. But I'm 100% confident that grief has kicked this off. Now, I also don't predict death sentences, and that's another thing in the comments. Don't come in the comments and pretend you're God. You might be the most famous psychic, but it doesn't mean that you look down on, and this has not happened, it's random people. And it seemed like all of a sudden yes, he's gonna, I knew his reign would be short. I knew his reign would be this, and what does it mean, and stuff like that. A lot of people get cancer and they recover, but it's a journey and it's ruthless. And that's where I said he needs to keep his energy focused and not be tied into the little things. I'm going to hopefully also look on how that meeting went, but I can tell you without pulling the cards. I'll get into that in a bit. I might in another part look at Diana, because I know that there'll probably be some tarot readers that are saying Diana's in the energy providing healing. And maybe she is, or maybe she's taking a step back, because this is about journeys. This is about awakenings for certain individuals. And so a lot of people like to place heroic or icons in situations that they are still playing a role of a heroine or an icon of how they were remembered. But there is a part when people need to step back, because the heroic part of it is allowing someone to ascend. And this is about tower moments that allow others to ascend and deeper growth. King Charles will be getting the best first class treatment, and I do feel that he is going to be looking at maybe a Vedic herbal in line with it. Now, just before I continue, I'm going to move the essence that I have so that I don't choke while I do the reading. Again, what I get through in this one, we'll call it part 2, and in the next one, hopefully I get through the main people that I want to pull cards for today, and then in the next one, if you're interested in these on a regular basis, then you can let me know in the comments. I want to thank those of you that subscribe, because you keep me going on this platform that does not seem to be very helpful. And if when I raise a complaint, it returns to, like, I don't know how I can have 0 views and 3 likes on something. So it tends to return and then it just goes down again. So let's see what we get, because there's definitely readings on this. I might pull cards on Princess of Wales, Catherine Middleton. But again, I can tell you what I feel with her. And just out of respect, I want to respect her energy. Although when I do pull the cards, I don't go deeply into mind probbing, and I don't channel in transcendence where I tap into their energy and pull their energy into my body and start talking or acting like them. So I might pull some cards just with what I want to say on that. But my other readings, you will see what I've mentioned. So let's move this heartfelt rose essence out the way. Keep the heartfelt and the healing candles and essence. And I'm just going to put it on the side. So I hope everyone's well and doing well. And what I said about the comments, it's not about any comments left. And again, all comments are welcome. Everyone's opinion is welcome. What I see with this is that there is some, what's always been said is King Charles has waited all his life for this. And there must be, there must be a sadness for this. Whether I feel when he got to the stage of being king, it was like, oh my God, it's happening. Do I want it? And he did want it because his mother had passed it down. And there was one stage where people say all his life he'd been wanting it. Well, there was one stage where he was told he will not get it, which would have eradicated the hope of having it. And so, in essence, if you think of the media that goes around this and, oh, look, he's 75 and he's become king, he just needs to, this about the monarch. And I believe, although William will be transforming the monarch totally, Charles was going to do some of that. And he wasn't just going to be this pit stop. I think he was going to start to move some of that. And so his reign, and he might wish to, but I don't think he is going to, wish to stay as king until his deathbed. I believe he's going to wish to abdicate and pass on to William. And I think he's already made that decision, and I think there's already been discussions. And then he's going to also get his treatment in line and go with his recovery. And so the question is not about this thing that's going around, the death sentence that's upcoming, or the death, the end. It's about the abdication and when it will happen. And I think it will be quite soon, but I think he's also going to be very much giving William the ability to tell him, yes, okay. Or, no, I need another month. I think he's going to do that. I also believe that King Charles, despite his probably own journey right now, is maybe a little bit worried about Princess Catherine. And I think, maybe I feel like she's chosen that she just wants to be alone. But I think if there is days where she wants to not be alone, that Charles would be there. And again, I'm picking up, you can hear it in my voice, a very emotional bond between them. I also feel that if there was any ruptures, that this is going to bring a healing. Again, tower moments that seem to be everything is crumbling for, these people that are human, they're royals, that during their journey, they're going to see, maybe this is happening to me and maybe I'm going to make that recovery. And maybe it's a long journey. And again, that all depends on his energy and how he manages it, how I've said in part 1. Now, I can guarantee you once the area of the Cancer is mentioned, that my prediction around the grief is correct. And I will do a further reading on this to go into a bit more detail. So if you have heard, then let me know, because I'm not someone who follows too much of the news. So a lot of people go through Cancer. And so the question is, how long will the reign be, and not how long is he going to live? There's a healing and a learning of family dynamics, empathy and deeper thought. If we think of Princess Catherine, I think she's asked for privacy during this time. And I do think it's because she's got a whole team around her supporting her, and the privacy is needed for her recovery and possibly for an outcome that they wish to have. King Charles has been open. He could have hidden having cancer and continued, but he's chosen to be open about it. And I think that takes bravery, especially when you see so much media hype about the monarch is crumbling, so-and-so is a racist, so-and-so is, I don't know, flying out, so-and-so said this, so-and-so has said that. All the media hype that's going around. And also, before he took the crown, that this is not going to be long-lived, this is not this is not that. There's already that, and he knows it. Yet he's decided to have that bravery, that courage to actually share that with everyone, the world, not only the UK, which means, he's decided to be more vulnerable. And I think that's definitely different than how the Queen was. I believe in the end, I'm not sure if it was correct that she had, was it bone cancer? And we didn't know until she passed. He's chosen to be transparent, and that needs strength, especially when, there's a high percentage of sometimes non-supporters or the media, like I mentioned. And so this is a buffering time. Remember, each family tends to have some kind of family member that causes, I don't want to say a black duckling or a bad egg, because it's not about that, but you understand what I mean by that. There's also something around Prince Edward's health. I haven't read on that, but I might do, and so I'm not sure if something's been said around that. Again, I said that I'd look at Queen Camilla. I don't think Harry went to the UK or to see his father. I presume he's on his way back. I don't think he would have stayed long, but again, it might be something where there's news on he stayed, I don't know, a nominal amount of time. I have to check on that. And he's going back, so what did he really do? But I also have a sense of the energy of that meeting. I do think there's a massive, huge picture that each one is going to see on their own level and internally as the royal family and as a family itself, of things that's happening and transforming. And in the end, when there's that success story or journey, why all was crumbling. One of those huge pictures we will see, especially if you're watching this video, you're going to be able to pinpoint, because you're now aware of what you might want to see, or be able to see, not want to see, be able to see. But it's like awakenings are happening. this transformation. And it's all about support towards, and I'm going to leave the gap. I think there's something here where Camilla is going to go through her own journey on what this all meant as well. Charles will, his energy will go from a bit of a victim, which we all do when we feel sorry for ourselves on bad days. You know, he finally got in his place and then there was a short reign. If he chooses to abdicate, which I believe he is. There is what I mean, through these tower moments, the sun comes out, or there is the positive, and it's huge that's going to be felt despite the negative and the sadness energy. So let's look at I did want to look at King Charles. I keep calling him Prince Charles, which is interesting. So I do think the abdication is quite soon. I do want to look at Prince William and Prince Harry, and then I do want to go back onto Prince Charles because I don't think I looked at the tarot for him, and I do want to because there's something I want to say there as well. And I will do a reading on Camilla. There is something going around about Notre Dame's prediction on this, and I haven't seen it, so if anyone has, you can let me know. And I wonder if it was word for word, or if it was, I feel like it was more, it seemed to have indicated as opposed to word for word, this is what will happen. But let's see. So first I'm going to go into Prince William and then Prince Harry, and then we'll see if I've got time for others. This deck is really asking me to pull a card for Catherine, Princess of Wales. It seems like it's calling me to do that. But I'm going to wait. I'm getting the number 7 for him. I'm getting the number 7. I'm going to pull the 7th card. I'm getting the number 7 being important. Confidence is important, but the number 7 has a significance for him. It doesn't mean that it's his favourite number. It means right now there's a significance for 7 for him. Look at that, heartbreak. This was the first card out. 5 of Pentacles, loss. Heartbreak. The second card was the Hermit. Virgo energies, Harry. But he's on his own journey as well. He's in deep reflection. He's really worried. He's heartbroken, he's heartbroken over his father. He's heartbroken off, and I think he's worried about Princess Catherine. First card out after that was the King of Pentacles. Healing, being patient, heartbroken over his father, knowing a new chapter and old chapter is closing and new chapters are opening regardless. There's new chapters and an old chapter closing with these health situations, feeling really bound and tied up and knowing that new beginnings need to start. Knowing that there needs to be healing, and his father does need to have that healing journey, the treatment for his health. And so he understands that if his father wishes to abdicate that and end that chapter, he needs to start that new beginning. He is feeling a bit hopeless at this moment in time. He feels more hopeless and bound and tied and chained than he is because of the situations that he's in. I think he also needs to watch his own health during this time because it's critical. I mean, if his health goes, he starts to feel unwell, whatever it is, the impact of it all, then it's going to be an issue. And we don't want that because, don't want anyone else coming in. But he needs to look after himself, and he needs to also temper, know when to step back. But he's also in a position where he needs to step forward. A lot of plans have been cancelled, maybe from Princess Catherine's side, and he's probably going to have to step up, not only as things he might have to do in terms of new responsibilities to take up to start getting that at the forefront, but also because of Princess Catherine might have been involved in, that he might take over, and being a father at the same time. I am getting the Emperor energy, so he knows that he needs to step up from the Prince to the King and basically an Emperor energy, a more leadership energy. There's something about a knight in shining armor. I'm not saying it's about his energy, but there's something about being a knight in shining armor. King of Swords, Ace of Cups, Two of Cups. Really knowing how to manage stuff from a discerning, logical way. This is where, he's having to step up. Have love for the situation. Have love for the new beginning. Take on energies of intellect as well as the monarch's name. Take on from King Charles. Renew his relationship. He will be feeling quite vulnerable at certain times, and he needs to make sure that what I want to say doesn't feel right, but he needs to make sure that not that he doesn't show that vulnerability, but it doesn't come across, rather than the public internally, quite harsh in what wording he might use. The Emperor, which I was seeing the Emperor energy. I was seeing that he would step up king, but also into more of an Emperor energy. And here it is. There's something about it's okay to be vulnerable as well, but at the same time, He needs to show his strength. Oh my God, the cards I can't lie with my channeling. He needs to show his strength. Inner strength. Have that inner strength. These two cards are very much tied in with each other. I don't mean in tarot, but in terms of their energy here. Finding his balance. Knowing he has the inner strength to do this. Who is a fire sign in the energy? You know, I think that person is going to be one of his key inner strengths. Help him with his inner strength. I don't know who the fire sign is. Looking after his health. And really coming forward. And actually being recognized for what he's commencing. Being in that good energy. Choices. Reunion. Rebonding. Celebration. Family celebration. The anxiety, the sleepless nights that will come in and out for him. The Queen of Cups. Some might say this is Diana. Okay. I don't know why I pulled it. I also felt it might be Camilla. That might start having, or she might have, more empathy and love to try and support him. And I don't doubt that Diana will be in the energy. The Wheel of Fortune. Things change. There might be tower crumblings, but things change to look up. And the change will, once it kicks off, it will kick off fast for him. And there will be communication then of that. So now I want to look at Prince Harry, and then maybe in the next part I'll look on how that meeting went. Or I can just tell you, I feel like that meeting was not long. It was not about details. It was not about, I think there's still hurt there. I definitely think that Prince Charles is not going to necessarily forgive directly. But I think there might have been a bit of tension. It wouldn't have been easy for Harry, but I do think he was there because he was worried about his father. Now, interestingly enough, I think Meghan's father is not well, and she refuses to see him. The other thing I wanted to say is, because I had some comments in terms of racism and, you know, whatever, I don't want to go into it. It's there, all right? How Meghan feels about what was been said, and she should accept apology, whatever it is. Prince Charles, he was a prince at the time, and I keep calling him Prince Charles. Prince Charles, he was a prince at the time. He actually walked Meghan down the aisle. Her father didn't. So how does she feel about Prince Harry, who travels in to see his father, and she's not going to see her father, who's not very well? I wonder if that triggers for her to rethink about some things. There's something about Meghan that not everyone is tapping into. There's something very clever about her. And there is a protection around her, and I don't know if that's a sealed, in a sense, a sealed protection. From, how can I put this? From someone she works with that does those kind of things. Understand it how you want to. Anyway, let's see Harry, and then I'm going to process this video, and I will go back into, yeah, so the meeting, I believe the meeting was more heartfelt, more to see how his father was. They didn't have time, or I think Harry might have flown back, I don't really know, to have, and I feel like it's kind of like, oh, I'm jetting in, I'm jetting out, that kind of superhero kind of thing. Harry's jetting into the UK, and then he jets out after a few hours, doesn't he? But it was more of like, both needing to have inner strength. And there's something here about Prince Charles, you know, seeing him. He could have refused to see him. And I mentioned this in part 1. You know, he could have definitely refused to see him. And that could be to choose for his health. And I think there's plenty of reason not to see his son, but he didn't. And he saw his son. And I believe his son was there for the right reason. I don't think he did it for media attention. There's other ways that they can create something for media attention. I don't think this would be it. And it wouldn't have been easy for Harry to arrive back in the UK and do that either. And it wouldn't have been easy for him not to do it either. But he needed to do what was right for him. I hope in this thing that he does, what do I want to say? He has the awakening now and not at a later stage. I do think at a very late stage, him and William will come together. And I do think Harry is going to become more of the calmer, spiritual person in the background. But that is going to be a journey. He's on a journey for that. And it's going to take some time. And there will be going back. I think he's going to turn to William in a time of crisis. And I'll go into that maybe in a different read. How is Harry feeling? Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and I did see the Seven of Swords here as I was flicking. So Seven of Swords is a bit hidden energy, but let's, you know, I wanted to take what cards fell out, so that's what we're going to do. The first one out was the Three of Wands. This is him flying out. Remember I said, oh, jetting out fast as I can like a superhero. There is a judgment, there is an awakening here happening for him. There's a clear judgment of what is right, what action is right. I've got love for my father. At the end of the day, he comes back into this, I'm the younger sort of son. He comes into the energy of, he wants to offer his love to his father. And he comes back, he's not a grown man here. It's his father. You know, when you come with your mum or your dad, you're not back as a child, but you are in a sense, and this is him. I'm not sure how these cards fell out, but I will go with them as it is. Queen of Swords. Quite guarded energy that needed to happen. Knight of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands. I'm going to put the Page of Cups here. Okay. So I don't think the energy was, and I hope the Seven of Swords is not anything, we'll see if it comes out. Well, the Queen of Swords is really about where there was clear communication, but it was slow and practical. And there's still a heavy burden around that relationship. And he feels, he's a knight here, okay? This is his energy. He feels overburdened right now by it. He feels overburdened. I'm not really sure if Megan is being quite harsh in terms of maybe there's a feminine energy, no one attacks me, who is maybe being a bit harsh at the moment, or giving him that cut the BS kind of insight, you know, not taking any BS from him. Okay, let's take what this heartbroken a little bit. Yeah. I think this is going to provide him I think it will provide him the awakening, but is it going to be right now, or is it going to be further down the line? And that's the end of that. That's the awakening. I'm going to interpret this as it is. The awakening of, you know, knowing that they need to reunite, not holding on to his own good. He is worried about his dad. There is grief here. There is heartbreak. And I do think he wants that Ten of Cups with the Royal, with his brother, with his father. And he wants that healing. He knows it's going to need patience. He knows his father needs that journey as well. And he knows his father needs all the love and support right now. And he needs to make sure that he doesn't remain within holding on to stuff. He needs to put an end to that. You know, have that judgment, have that awakening. You're feeling heavy burdened. Have that judgment, have that awakening. Try to have that. This reuniting is where I see him and William in the future. But right now, he needs to put an end to that and work on that. Not hold on to what he's been holding on to. Bringing harmony into the relationship. And he needs to take action towards that. He needs to do that. I'm getting pulled. Let's pull one of these cards for Harry. So this is his current energy, and the card is falling. Look at that. Pausing. Number 7. Number 7. Pause in your journey. It definitely has, you know, this is where it's given him that pause. And I think he's going to be doing a lot of reflection. There needs to be, you know, with that death card, a rebirth on every level. I hope he has this right now and not at a later stage. And the cards are showing it's right now. You know, it's kind of like there's towers of crumbling. Life is split in the middle for him. He's got Meghan and the kids on one side, and then, you know, he realizes his love. And I felt like he was realizing that in one of the last readings I did on them. It's a tower, basically. He's going to have a tower moment. And he's going to be transmuting, traumatizing pain that he has been keeping. But the meaningful change comes after a time of this great destruction. And I feel a couple of them are going to be going through this. But he needs to clear out with the old. Like here, just like volcanoes and earthquakes that, you know, violently shake the planet. And they create new lands, or they split lands. This is the same for him. At the moment, he's split between two and he rarely feels it. And he's caused that. Or he's been put in those positions and then built on that. And there is destructive events now that as he's feeling happening that are going to bring new opportunities for growth, reuniting, evolution. It's not going to come easy, but he needs to work on it because I think he put the cracks there. You know, there's something about acting, of purging, that is going to help the new path of action. I hope this is still recording after all this. And a quiet period of breakdown is going to be needed so that, you know, look at this. This is kind of decay as well, which is essential for regeneration, rebirth, that judgment awakening. But it'll be on a spiritual, mental, physical level as well. And there will be flowers that bloom out of this and around him. But he needs to pause and he needs to listen and he needs to take action where he sees the right. He needs to go through this transformation. Take peace and solace right now. Wait before making next moves or moves that are not going to be aligned. Because new developments are ahead. And there's going to be a sign that's going to appear for him, you know. And it's going to make sure, and I'm just getting that sign that could be from Diana. But that sign is going to come in and she could be helping, trying to make sure he sees the sign. you know, that his and his life is growing and it's becoming right now. He needs to not ignore this. And hopefully this is his deep awakening. And it's interesting, it's a 7 card. I think this is a tarot deck of about 54 or 60 cards. And I mentioned about the number 7 being important to William during this time. So Harry is going to be really important to William. And Harry, even if it's in the background, needs to be able to support William. And the first thing they can do is start putting out better stuff in the media. Or taking a step back. Or trying to, you know, there's ways to, it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm coming to see you, William, or whatever. Maybe he's not ready for that, especially when his wife's not well as well. It's interesting. I said about 7 being important, and Harry is important in this. Their bond is important, and I do believe that. So I hope this is still recording. Everyone, if you've enjoyed it, let me know. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. There will be a next one. Bye-bye.